Alrighty, hello, we're here, new release reaction, okay, King Krule, Space Heavy, 4th album from the boy, 10 years in the game, I believe, 10 years in the game, 2013, that's when the 6 Feet Beneath the Moon came out. Okay, King Krule. What do I think about King Krule? So I recently re-listened to 6 Feet Beneath the Moon, because that one I was listening to a good handful of songs, but wasn't fully familiar with it, and I thought it was really good. I need to re-listen to The Ooze, though. That's one important thing to say, is I need to re-listen to The Ooze, because I listened to that upon its release, and I did not like it, really. I was bored to tears. I was bored to tears. Although Dumb Surfer was like one of my favorite tracks of that year. Like, I really messed with Dumb Surfer. And then coming back into Man Alive, when Man Alive came out, I listened to Man Alive. I had a lot of fun with that album. I thought it was really good. I don't know where it ranked that year, but it was you know, still relatively well received for me. This album, I don't know really what to expect. Okay, it's been 3 years since we had an album from King Krule, and that's about all I can say. Let's just dive in. Nicer voice, not as rough. Kind of got a Damon Albarn vibe here.
My eyes were popping out of sockets.
First song on here, Flimsier, and I really like it. I really like it. I guess, like, first off, what I'm expecting from King Krule is that growl to him, right? And here, you're not really feeling that growl. He's very soft. He's a very soft coming on here. The instrumental is back on here. It's very chill. It's very low-key. Guitar is very melodic. There's a nice little solo part there as well. Drums are very clean in the back. It's nice. Honestly, this is a very nice song. Let's get into this lyrically. You know, this first verse here, he's saying, she said, it seems like these days merge as one. Oh, I tried to change them to better ones, but you called it a day and now it's through. I don't throw it away. That's what I do. So, you know, these days aren't good. It seems to merge as one. Like, I'm not feeling much change with you. Not feeling much change. You tried to do the change. She called it a day. She broke up with you, but she also called it a day. Like, she's saying, no, the day is still the same. It's still merging as one. I think that, like, that layer there is kind of cool. And when the night bleeds, it could love me forever. Maybe that's why it won't work. It don't work. It could love me forever. What the fuck does that mean, Archie? But then, like, whatever you're saying, like, maybe that's why it won't work. It don't work. My eyes were popping out of sockets onto empty chests. But then you have this little part here, it's been holding the weight of the world, weight of the world, weight of the world, right? And then you have that repetition of that chorus. And when he's saying holding the weight of the world, it's really selling on an emotional point. So, you know, whatever you have with this person, you are certainly feeling it. You're certainly feeling it very strongly. Okay, I'm not going to act here like I know exactly what he's trying to say, but I get this romantic narrative, I think, for the better part of it. shorter track, getting from that emotional one. A little bit more moody. He's creepy on this. It has bursts of energy, loud, aggressive energy on here, like in the jazzy elements on this one as well. It's a fun track. It's very fun. Okay, cool. Let's see what we're got in here. First verse says he has plenty of people on my peripheral. I'll spend many moons spilling my guts to many fools and plead their lusting all over the world. I've seen so many things I have. Bidding your shell. I nailed your girlfriend. So he you know, first verse here, what is he coming off as? He's coming off as an asshole, but he's an honest asshole. You know what I mean? He's even saying, spill my guts to many fools. You know what I mean? Like, I've told people, and again, he spills his guts to us. Are we a fool? Because he says that he nails someone's girlfriend. Oh, slimy tonight. I have. And then she said to me, you don't mean nothing anymore. So now, based off of his perspective from the first verse, this person is now being told, like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I don't care about you. It's been a long time coming since I've seen it's golden, we're golden, but only in the sun. The night breaks. You always put me to the test to put me down. You're being put to the test to be put down. So the situation you're in, too, I guess, was you were always expecting this to happen. Weird. Okay. It's interesting, like, listening to this right now, like, this, it's got some elements that I recognize from King Krule, but as well, this sort of dreamier state that it's putting me in is not really what I'm expecting to, or this album isn't starting off with this, like, punch, too, right, like this, or the suaveness from him. Yeah, the sound of it does kind of feel lovesick, I guess. What do we get into this lyrically? It starts off, he's saying that she's sleeping. She speaks in my dreaming. I take her waist within my hands, and when I wake, she melts away into the sand. Despite that the brick walls, the ceiling up here are freer than the birds who soar above the broken earth. The train line in Seaforth. We sit and watch the planet dying up above. We sit and smile without concern. So again, I think maybe maybe this is still a dream thing, because here, this second verse, right, everything is kind of happy, you know, and they're not worrying about the state of the world, and they're together, and everything is great with that. And the song starting, or this verse, sorry, starting, like, despite the brick walls and the ceiling, right, like, that he can't reach past something, right? I see you, my same eyes. Okay, the genius is saying this is about his daughter. I don't know. If I didn't have the genius, I would think that, again, this is suggesting some sort of reflection happening from how one he is with their relationship, I guess. This song ends. He's saying again, like, this faith is all I have. We share the dark days between us. They put a heavy space between us. Is how this song ends. Right. And it's saying here too, which makes sense, right? You can only communicate through dreams, so there is distance. Like, in reality, things are not really occurring. Okay, I guess his 4-year-old daughter was a co-writer of the song. That's cool. Let's go on.
Don't know where to lost love. Outside the club, he told me maybe you're inside. Night was warm, but it's late.
Okay, That Is My Life, That Is Yours. Not bad. Okay, this is kind of, again, a slow song. Lyrically, too, it's really making me feel like he's drifting around somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, there really feels like this aimlessness, this peaceful aimlessness, maybe. In the sense where I feel like he, for some reason, has hope. And obviously the second half of the song, this little jazzy part that comes out of it, which is, it's cool. I fuck with it. I think it's chill. Yeah, lyrically, right? He's searching for his lost love. I don't know where you are tonight, my lost love. Yeah, I searched all day and through the night and up above. I asked the floors for a light outside the club. You told me maybe you're inside, but no luck. I took the bus to Bishop Gate and opened up. The night was warm, but it's late and it's warm. It's late and it repeats that, right? So it's a very short excerpt of something. Anyway, well, lyrically here on how this is working, it feels like a poem, which, you know, sure, makes sense. You know, looking for his lost love. Shit's not good. He's contemplating life while he's taking this bus late at night, right? No luck to find this person. And maybe this is connected to Seaforth, right? In your dreams, and now you're going, oh, maybe I should search for this person. Maybe. I'm trying to see some connection to that, but it's cool.
Strokes of silence, so it's been a while since her day. It's a tortoise of independency. I just want this moment to last and to love. A bench of memories.
Tortoise of Independency, I'd say that's one of my favorite tracks on here for sure. It's a very short song, 2 minutes too. Again, really feels like it's interconnecting lyrically as well. Here we'll start with this. Strokes of silence soft. It's been a while since her days have been. And in the cavernous sheets she feeds a tortoise of independency. And I guess the person who's a tortoise is you. Independency. Is it saying like this tortoise is very independent? But it's you being independent, talking about you being slow as we move into the other verse here. Why do you walk with me so slow? Said I walk like I'm in a trance, and I spoke. I said I just want this moment to last and to last and to last. So maybe there's a fear too of losing this person, so wanting to cherish those moments. See those figures wait alone on the park, bunch of memories. It's been and gone in a year, I think, but the dreams I've had for so long, so long, so long, so long. So getting into, we've already talked about the song Seaforth, right, and how he's seeing this person in his dreams, and now, you know, he is saying, I think what the dreams I've had for so long, so long. So this dream or whatever, it's really getting to him, and he's pondering, he's continuously pondering, and maybe this two verses up here are from a memory, you know what I mean? This is not, he's not singing from what's happening in the now, but, and maybe he feels like this, she feeds a tortoise of independency, right? So the thing is feeding. You're depending on her feeding you. I don't know if that's fully the case, but she is giving this service to something that is independent. Something's independent, you know, it can certainly feed itself, I guess, right? So, but walking like you're in a trance, potentially saying too, like, you're not fully there with me. Like, what are you doing? You're not present. And when you want that moment to last, potentially, you know, you're not thinking about her perspective, you are thinking about your own perspective. I don't know, there may be some selfishness in this. I may be reading too much into it, but I'm just wondering.
If I die, I don't search for me. The gates are, the gates are. Yeah, if I die, just throw me in the trash. Without you, I'm not dead. Spoken. Anyways. You say every space. You say every time.
And if I die, don't search for me, the gates are yet to open, and you are by my side through thick and thin, and if I die, just throw me in the trash. Touch you, I'm not there with all these things we've seen. So, wow. Okay. So, again, this person was by your side, but you're, like, really throwing yourself away. Like, in the sense, like, you're pushing yourself away from this person. And late at night, he never spoken. He waits and he waits and he waits and he waits inside of your brain. Nowhere to go. It's erosion. Like a little version of yourself in your brain, maybe, like, I don't know, bye-bye, you sail through space, you sail through time. Weird, I don't know about this one. What I can gather, though, is that he's really feeling the disconnection from this person, and in a way he's doing it to himself. He's very isolated emotionally, I guess, right? He's, you know what I mean? All we really get from this person is that they were there by his side, right? Again, the chorus here, right? He's saying goodbye. You sail through space. Maybe that space too is the heavy space, right? It's literally space. They're a very short song. It's an instrumental, okay. Hamburgerphobia, I don't really feel close to this one. I'm not the biggest fan of this one. I think it's okay. Especially the chorus there, it's not really really striking with me, but I really like the drums on this song, I will say. Lyrically, what are we getting into here? They called a number around 10 to 8, picked up a burger, I walked away, sat in the park until the 8. I think the birds want to murder me, unearthly curse, disease, human race, deep beneath the burger grease, they pecked my brains, but not much is in there, but nobody's safe. Don't think they care about the state of your status or how many days on earth you're as paid. Yes, you laid no superficial dollars, and the only one who felt this way. Okay, so it's painting this image for sure, right? Getting the burger, going to the park, and having some sense, just like a dark thought in a way, or realizing that, you know, how a human thinks, or, you know, humans' thought in relation to society, or the greater picture of, you know, humans being this, like, dominant species. Other animals don't give a fuck, You know what I mean? Like all of that to the greater picture of nature and humanity, not humanity, sorry, life, I guess, is meaningless in a way, I guess. But Hamburgerphobia, I can't speak to like, okay, what does Hamburgerphobia mean? Unless there's this sense of like this, you know, buying into this fast food type of nature, and maybe this phobia of being in this world where we're all just like consuming this shit stuff. You know what maybe I don't know if that's too on the nose, and maybe he's thinking deeper, but that's just what I was thinking at least. My lover turned to me, you don't deserve to be deserving me. You're just a waste of space. Your space comes again, yeah. And yeah, that's harsh, but a valid thing to say. She kicked me out of the car to heavy traffic in my brain. Okay, heavy traffic in the brain. Lots of thoughts going in your brain. I like this song lyrically though. And it rains and it pours all over and over again, not for the last 1,095 days. I separate into the minutest, minuscule gaps of time and space. Okay, so time and space come together. I'll put back together. All my memoirs were erased. Vanished forever. Our love is just a fugue state. I don't know if this is a memory again of this one person, but like, what he's showing to me is that shit was fucking bad with this person, okay? And you accepted it. I don't know what you did, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where I don't know the details of this relationship, so I can't be like, oh, that was crazy that she did that. You know what I mean? But you accepted this position that she threw on you, and it really didn't do much good for your mental state, I guess. But this song, I guess, just seems the most cynical, just the most darkest at the end of the day. Swamp 2. I don't feel too close to this one as well. It's fine. It's listenable. The guitar on here is quite nice. But yeah, sound wise to it, I'm just like, okay, whatever. You know, like I don't feel anything really striking me. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, this is standing out. I really understand this song. But lyrically, what are we getting here? It's informing claustrophobia. You've been waiting for the end of the line, where all those big bad thoughts go. Big bad thoughts go, like what? Will you die? I don't know. I don't know where I slept last night. At least not insomnia. I won't go to sleep for a while. Going to sleep, right? If he dreams about her, I guess maybe. You always ask what's wrong with you. Deep rest for the third kind. I must forget you to the back of my mind. Not to drown my sorrow because if it's from the swamp then. Yeah, so he doesn't want to go to sleep because he's going to think about her. It's pretty obvious here. Back it goes. I must have met you in another life, so it goes. If you think I'm letting you wade on through all the emotions I own, then if it's from the swamp, and back it goes. So it's from these deep, dark trenches. And you're keeping it there, basically. So this song is basically you really pushing back against these emotions. The last song, it was you thinking about such a dark moment, this cynicism, and here you're fighting. I feel like you're fighting these emotions a little bit. Raveena, I'm aware of her. I've listened to EP, I believe, EP from her. feeling the narrative of this one. I mean, it's really. I think after listening to this album, you will feel like it's just taking a certain emotion, mood. It's not trying to deepen things too much, and then float in with the sound of the music. Really, I feel with this. Yeah, the song starts take, take, take. So you're taking something from someone, I guess. Okay. Water falling from my fingers. You stare in awe. Call me Seagirl. Painter. He is quite a thinker. Let him paint me. His Seagirl. Okay, so like this person is like totally obsessed with you. You're vibing with that. King Krule comes in. Her underwater ecstasy. You could easily be the depth of me. I swim through, and if I start sinking, I'm probably overthinking. So okay, so shows his obsession. He comes to me, stuck on his knees, asking for better days. So now he's asking for better days. I don't know if this is like maybe a new relationship, maybe. Or, you know, turn the tables, right? Because beforehand he was saying he was going to give better days, and now he's asking for better days. Maybe he's just asking for better days after this relationship that initially happened, right? He's like, please, like, I need this. Just don't turn me into wine, something to pass the time. Okay. Don't turn me into something to pass the time, like wine. I know that when we're done, that's when I'll fall in love.
Don't stare, but the space between us is dark. In a cage of your heart, in between the gaps of the stars, we lay down and feel far better. It's our vacuum. It's our vacuum. Walking around. Feel this way, and I can't breathe on my feet. You won't understand. Time it out.
Our Vacuum, slower song. I'm vibing with this one. I think it's cute. Let's get into the lyrics here. From our thoughts far away. Again, space there with where the thoughts are. I leave, I don't stay. But the space between us is dark in the cage of your heart. A picture of a room, our stillness, our moon. And in between the gaps of the stars, we lay in the dark. It's so empty, this space. So empty, the space that weighs heavy on my plate. And in between us is a grave, and I feel it far away. I'm not sure what's the day. Sometime this week I need a train, I need more time. I'm done fucking around, I keep feeling this weight, and I can't breathe from underneath. A whole heap of grief, I need to let it out. To understand, timing out, butterflies fly around, butterflies fly around. Maybe with space make it better, things make it better. So we gotta feel it all and feel it all again. So, are you leaving your thoughts maybe? Like again, this is just like another song where, you know, you have to let go of these certain emotions. But the space between us is dark. Maybe this darkness is not good. Like the space between us isn't good. And you're thinking that things will get better if you take this distance in a way. You're really trying to get away from this feeling. And again, I think it may have been the first song you were talking about. It was weighing on you, and here again you're talking about it. You've been talking about time and space a lot on this album. This song again, you're going, I need more time. Space Heavy, I like this one a good bit. You know, this one also has like a little bit of a heavier moment, but still quite a slow song for the vast majority of it. I'm sensing too, or reading the lyrics while listening, you know, like a lot of like retread in a way where it's like recalling and trying to like build this narrative on these small, minuscule things, right? Like thought, like I had not thought about it. It was just talking about, you know, thought in the last song, and I sink in full armor. He was talking about sinking in the Raveena song. Interesting. I sink in full armor. The lake is oil of misery. Get ready to slurp it up. So like someone is drinking from your misery, or getting some like sustenance from your misery, maybe, I don't know. She thought I heard it, outspoken, I refuse to be saved, my plastic straw. And then you say my plastic straw, and then very sensitive men. So this is almost like you are, you know, you've really went into the sadness now of whatever's happened. You didn't think about it, but she appears from nothing out the blue. So it's like when you thought you were getting over it, thought comes back, you didn't get over it, you're very miserable, and you know, you're, this outro, you're just suggesting, right? You're a very sensitive man. Translation for the song, but I don't think I really heard him sing on this, so I'm a little confused. The compass points to the sea. My gut, I'm an animal. My fingers burn after walking. Burns inside. I'm about to burst. Again, that makes sense. Pointing to the sea. I mean, discussing this, the sea, Seaforth, Seagirl. I love the strings on this, the jazz elements of it. This is a very, it's a little bit interlude as well, but it's really like on a journey interlude, you know what I mean? It doesn't just feel like it's filling up some time, really. But lyrically, I don't know what's going on here.
Running out of space beyond the stairs that you can't afford. If only it was wrong that you held. If only it was wrong that you held.
I'd probably say If Only It Was Warmth is one of the better songs on here for sure. Another dreamier song at the end of the day, just like what I was saying with the other tracks. Like how Archie is on this, very slow pace, very, you know, there isn't this like sharp emotion, but it's like, very like, you know what I mean? Like, which again, I'm still like, I know there's one song left, but I'm still like, oh wow, like he really went for this new kind of sound here. Okay, running out of space for your mistakes. Again, space is coming back. I'm just reading the Genius for here, which I kind of like. Saying that he's finished with being walked all over, but he's still calling them mistakes as he wants to see the good in this person. Okay, well, that makes me recall to the Hamburgerphobia song, right? Where like the way that she was treating him there was pretty fucking intense, and you said it was valid, right? So that's sort of that's definitely connected there. Keep running out of space for your mistakes that you can't avoid. Walk 2 hours across empty space to fill the void. You walk 2 hours across empty space to fill the void. You filled the void with nothing. okay. You just continue to be in that situation. I'm disappointed in you. Okay. So maybe there's like some like here, like you're finally saying something about it, but instead of being mad, you're just like, fuck, like why? You know what I mean? If only it was warmth that you held. Okay, so you are suggesting here that you were wishing that there was a certain emotion that she would have given to you, and then things would have worked out, I guess. So this song is you know what I mean? Like you have this like sort of like, okay, I'm kind of standing up, but at the same time you're not. Like you can't fully, like you're like, nah, fuck, I still like this person, and this is the way I wanted it to be, basically. So it's very interesting, for sure. Okay. Wednesday Overcast, weird song. What can I say? Lyrically though, this definitely does wrap things up. You feel that just like the rhythmic drumming on there, that's kind of putting on here. How he's singing here lyrically, it's not as emotive, but it's still slower, like in the sense of, again, I think that works lyrically here. Heard you were back in the country looking for me, and your heart was broken, your head was clean, down here on the carpet, still spoken those dreams. I'm on tongue caramel, an empty stomach of weed, left me in outer space. Reasons for your need, stuck here, no answers, no peace. I trained to the coast for hours, once a week. In the pub, cornered, surrounded by creeps, they spoke of the violence of racist beliefs, and old red bricks and 10 cups of tea, and this place was forgotten from history. I lay in silence before we arranged to meet. The mirror was small, behind lots of trees, my head was empty, my life was discreet. A lot has changed, now a lot means to me. Again, ending this album about change, right? Because the first song he's talking about, oh, I can do things that changed, and things have certainly changed, and now they're seeing each other again. The thing is, though, is the way he's talking about his life still, it's like, it's not good. You know what I mean? Like, right, like, I train to the coast for hours once a week, and he, you know, he's around this shitty group of people, and they're going to meet, I guess, too, right? My head was empty, my life was discreet. I don't know, the way he's discussing, like, meeting up with this person again, it just doesn't seem like, you know, this whole album again, right, it's like either like, okay, yes, I do love her, blah, 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 she's treating me like shit, but I can't stop thinking about her, I'm dreaming about her. Last song, you get this, like, just like not good emotions about it, but you're still not in a good position either, right? Like you said, I'm stuck here, no answers, no peace. Maybe that's just about your life, but still maybe in relation to her. Weird way to end it, but I think it's kind of cool to sort of leave it with some human ambiguity. You don't have the answers, right? And I think that's why it ended like this, lyrically. Interesting. Again, I haven't listened to a King Krule album and like sat there and dissected the lyrics. I don't always do that. I think that's been sort of a thing that I do as of late, or recently, I guess. What do I think about this album overall? I do like it. I do like it. I'm not crazy for it. And I really do think that's based off of how I usually think about King Krule. Barring maybe the first album, coming back to that, singer-songwriter elements on that I was really enjoying. And, you know, this song, or this album, instrumentation of it may sound smooth or whatever, but on a first go, I'm not fully getting invested in the sound of it completely. Like, it doesn't really pop into my memory and go like, okay, you know what this song sounds like, you know what it feels like. So it's one of those things where I'm like, it doesn't reach certain peaks as much as it could, but that's subject to change if I come back, listen to it a few more times, and it does stick. Right? But regardless, I do think him as a lyricist, I do think he paints a vivid picture on enough of these songs for sure. Maybe, I don't know if it really has to be a criticism, but seeing how he writes this album as a concept album, and taking words and discussing them in different contexts throughout this album to showcase the change of this relationship or his emotions surrounding this relationship. It's not gonna grab at me in the strongest way, but in the sense of where I'm like, if this is just a song taken out of context for the album, it may not mean as much potentially. I don't know, but if I get to the sound of it later, whatever, right? I'm just seeing it in that perspective. But for an album, conceptually, front to back, I'm understanding what it's trying to do there. It's cool. It's nice. I kind of think it's important for King Krule to change his style for sure. I don't think I was fully expecting something that's like this, very slow album, but I'll take it, especially to react. I didn't think I was going to be reacting to such a slow album, but there you have it. A 7.5 to 8 maybe. I don't know if I really get that 8, but I'm going to come back to it, and hopefully it can stick with me. So okay, so here we are, 4th album, King Krule, Space Heavy. And my first score was 7.5, and yep, I'm gonna keep it at a 7.5. I listened to this 4.5 times, so I put some listens into it, and I do think coming back to it, I certainly had some appreciation for moments throughout this. But at the end of the day, King Krule is just not one of my favorite artists. I've respected him, and I do think when Man Alive came out, based off the fact, and I do want to re-listen to the Ooze, but I wasn't a big fan of the Ooze. I felt like it bored me. And when Man Alive came out and I listened to that, I was surprised. I was shocked with my enjoyment of that album. And with this album, there's tinges of it. There's tinges of it that made me want to give it an 8. Because coming back to it and re-listening to it, I did understand more depth instrumentally, or even the way he says things vocally, right? But it wasn't enough to keep consistent. My listening wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't engaged as much as I wanted to be. Okay, but at the end of the day, this is an impressive album. It's sound throughout the project. It's consistent. I'm kind of liking this vibe that King Krule's going for. There's a feeling of old King Krule, but this is very much so new King Krule. Okay, it's very chilled, very laid back. Okay, there's not heavy moments throughout this album. Sometimes a little bit comes out, maybe a growl from him vocally, but it's for the most part he's very reserved. It's very relaxed project, right? And I do think as a romantic album, I guess in a way that this works lyrically. It's not deep lyrically, but he knows how to write. Okay, he knows how to give you things that have layered meaning. When I'm listening to this on my own time, I'm not fully going to be always chimed into what he's trying to say lyrically, I think. But I'm getting this breakup album. You know what I mean? It's less about the breakup, and it's more about the mental state of our boy Archie, and sort of this epiphany or this realization of their self-esteem issues, and how in a relationship, they let themselves get, emotionally abused. They just allowed it to happen. They just allowed themselves to be treated that way. And at the end of the day, there is this love for this person still. He still really has a lot of care for this person outside of that obsession that he can sort of have, or not being able to let go of his thoughts about this person. And regardless, there still being a space
between this person. But I do think this last song, he is allowing himself to have that distance, truly have that distance. We don't end off with everything being perfect in this album, and I do appreciate that as well, right? This is not an album about everything wrapping up perfectly, fairy tale. He's a very emotional guy. Again, I haven't listened to an album from his and really tried to think deeply about it, but I try to do that now with albums, and it's very easy to do that when I'm recording a reaction, because I want to share what I could possibly think fully about this album. So this is pretty good. It's a good album, and I do understand why people could like this more than I do. You know what I mean? This is one of those albums that even though I give it a 7.5, I think, I can understand why someone likes this much more than I do at the end of the day. And at the same token, I can understand why someone likes this less a little bit. But yeah, this is pretty cool. If there's anything you want to see me react to, anything at all, you put a comment down below, okay? And potentially I can do it, okay? Especially if you get enough likes on that comment, it will let me know that there's people wanting to watch that, and that brings the chances of that video coming out, much better. Anyways, thank you for watching.